Hello again. Or if you are new with us, welcome to the Canting Club. This week we have a Spanish red. It's from the Jumilla region of southeast Spain, and it's by perhaps the best producer in that area, the great CasaCastillo. Unusually for Jumilla though, this one is made entirely from the Garnacha variety. Now, Garnacha is a notably pale-skinned grape, but you'd never guess by looking at this one. It's a much more than medium ruby colour, perhaps not as dark as a Cabernet or a Shiraz would be, but still impressively deep for this variety. Now that smells really Spanish, like it just couldn't come from anywhere else. There's a balsamic vinegar quality to this nose that reminds me very much of good Rioja Reserva, only without the obvious vanilla-y oak that wine would have. Indeed, there's pretty much no oak on this at all. There's a suggestion of wood shavings here, but I think that's more a mineral scent than an oak one. Reminds me a bit of the papery smell of the Etna Rosso we did a few weeks ago. Behind that, there's lots of black cherries and also lots of dried herbs, a real bouquet garni of them. Mostly rosemary and bay though, I think. There's also a really gamey, savoury quality that's very Spanish. And to top it all, a little bit of cracked black pepper too. Wonderful nose. Now gosh, this tastes surprisingly fresh after that very mature smelling nose. It's also remarkably light on its feet for a wine at 14.5% alcohol. It's a bit more than medium bodied, but not the heavyweight monster I was expecting. Lots of fruit here. Cherries again, but red ones as well as the black ones that were on the nose. There's a real mix of red and black fruits, in fact. There's raspberries here and blackberries. And then on the after palate, they're joined by a distinct impression of coffee. Hold the wine in your mouth for a while and you should be able to get that. That coffee and the herbs continue on into the finish, where the lively acidity here emphasises the red fruit quality of the wine and also nicely counterbalances the very smooth and well-restrained tannins on this. This is absolutely ready to drink now. Garnacha is unusual to find here. It's native to northern Spain, but isn't normally found this far south and never on its own. The reason is that the winemaker here, Jose Maria Vicente, noticed that the soil in the highest part of the estate looked really similar to that in Châteauneuf-du-Pape in France. Deep gravels and pebble laid over limestone. So he decided to plant the main Châteauneuf grape, the Garnacha, which the French call Grenache. This is the result. Garnacha would often have a problem with low acidity, especially this far south. But here, the high altitude, this vineyard is 750 metres up, and the north-facing slope, and the low yields here, and the cool 2014 vintage have all come together to preserve wonderful freshness in this wine. Those low yields lead to small berries and hence a high skin-to-pulp ratio, which is responsible for the deep colour in this wine. Now the downside to that would normally be hard tannins, because the tannins are in the skins as well. But here, foot treading has come to the rescue. This wine was foot trodden. Very old-fashioned technique, but it's terrific for extracting colour and flavour while leaving the tannins behind. The result is a wine that tastes a lot like the Châteauneuf that inspired it, or perhaps like the very fashionable Garnachas of Priorat in northern Spain, but at a fraction of their price and without the long aging that they normally require. This wonderfully fragrant and delightfully Spanish nose is just the icing on the cake. Cheers!